Every gilded cage is built with walls of comfort. The only question is what you're paying for them.
So, what if I told you that the world you think you know, the one you see on the news, the one you read about in history books, is really just one version of the story? Today, we're going to dig into some of the strange anomalies and wild narratives that suggest there's a whole lot more going on, hidden in plain sight.
And let me just start by asking you this, straight up. How much of what you accept as absolute truth is actually just a story, a narrative that you've been told, that we've all been told? That's really the core question we're going to explore today as we try to find the line between fact and fiction.
All right, so first things first, let's get our bearings. We need to talk about the official story. This is basically the shared reality we all operate in. The big historical events, the accepted scientific facts. It's the foundation we all kind of agree on, well, for the most part.
But what happens when that official story starts to, well, show some cracks? You know, when you look closer at these well-documented events and find little inconsistencies that just don't quite add up, that's when the doubt starts to creep in, and that's where our investigation really begins.
Okay, let's take a look at one of the most picked-apart moments in all of modern history, the JFK assassination. The official timeline seems so clean, right? Oswald leaves the building at 12:33. 1 minute later, shots are fired. Kennedy's pronounced dead at 1 p.m., and they have Oswald in custody less than an hour after that. Seems simple, straightforward, a closed case. But is it really?
Well, here's where that simple story completely unravels. We had two different, official U.S. government investigations that couldn't even agree on the most fundamental fact. How many shots are actually fired? In '64, the Warren Commission says 3. But then, 15 years later, the House Select Committee says, no, wait, it was 4. I mean, if the official story can't get that right, what else might be off?
And look, this feeling of doubt isn't just about a single afternoon in 1963. It starts to create cracks in our whole understanding of history itself, challenging those neat, tidy timelines we all learned in school.
Just think about some of these historical oddities. You've got entire cities found underwater off the coast of India that suggest advanced civilizations were around way earlier than we thought. Then you have 2,000-year-old horseshoes found on an Antarctic island that has never, ever had horses. There was an island called Saxonburg that sailors mapped for 200 years, and then it just vanished. And then there's this photograph of a huge ape-like creature in South America that, according to science, just shouldn't exist. Every one of these is a little piece of data that refuses to fit into the official puzzle.
So that leads us here. If our records of the past are this shaky, what does that say about the present? Are the events we see unfolding every day just happening? Or could they be shaped by unseen architects, people with a very specific agenda?
You know, this isn't some brand new conspiracy theory. Way back in the day, a guy named Edward Bernays, who is basically the father of modern public relations, he laid it out in plain English. He called propaganda a consistent, enduring effort to shape events and public opinion. It's about consciously engineering what people believe.
A classic example of this idea is the alleged CIA program called Operation Mockingbird. The theory goes that the agency secretly used journalists to push their own narratives. And yeah, it's still considered a theory, but it starts to sound a whole lot more plausible when you look at programs we know existed, like the FBI's COINTELPRO, which was absolutely designed to disrupt political groups right here at home. The precedent is definitely there.
But this idea of control isn't just about the nightly news or newspaper headlines. It goes so much deeper than that. It stretches into the very fabric of our culture, what we value, what we want, and how we spend our time.
I mean, just think about consumer culture for a second. One theory suggests that it's no accident. A population that's more focused on the next iPhone or the next big Netflix show is a distracted population. It creates this loop of working to buy things, going into debt, and then having to work more, leaving very little time or energy to question the way things are. It's a much softer, more subtle kind of control.
Okay, so we've questioned the stories we're told about history. We've questioned the stories we're told about society. What if we go deeper? Now we're going to take the final leap, right through the veil, to question the very fabric of reality itself.
So let's just put the big one out there. Are we living in a simulation? A giant cosmic database? And believe it or not, this isn't just something out of a sci-fi movie anymore. It's a real hypothesis that some very serious philosophers and physicists are actually debating.
And once you dive into this hypothesis, the ideas get even wilder. There's one theory that suggests whole universes get deleted just to save on cosmic processing power.
And you know those weird moments of déjà vu, or those bizarre coincidences that feel too perfect? They might not be random. They could literally be glitches in the code, or maybe even hacking attempts from another reality trying to break through.
Now, before you dismiss all of this, let's ground it in some actual mind-blowing science. See this number? 95%. That's the amount of our universe that is completely invisible to us. It's made of dark matter and dark energy. Stuff we know has to be there, but we can't see it, we can't touch it, and we barely understand it.
So this brings up a huge question about the 95% of reality we can't even perceive. Is it just a bunch of random physical stuff floating around? Or could it be something more? Some people speculate that it could be a conscious force, actively shaping the entire cosmos and guiding our destiny on a scale we can't even begin to imagine.
Wow, okay, from the JFK assassination to consumerism, all the way to dark energy, we've been down some pretty deep rabbit holes. So for this last section, let's pull back and ask a different question. What are all these unofficial realities really about? What purpose do they serve?
After everything we've looked at, after questioning everything from history to the cosmos, we're left with the ultimate question, aren't we? Where does the truth actually lie? Is it in the official story, or is it hiding in one of these alternatives?
And maybe this is the real takeaway. Maybe the point isn't about proving any single one of these theories true or false. The real insight, the thing that really matters, is understanding the process itself. Just recognizing that we as humans are storytellers. We are constantly building narratives to try and make sense of a really chaotic and confusing world.
So in the end, maybe the greatest secret isn't some government cover-up or a glitch in a cosmic simulation. Maybe the biggest secret of all is a personal one, hiding right there in plain sight. It's the incredible power of the stories we choose to believe and the reality that those stories create for us. So the only question left is, which reality will you choose?